I never know how to start it. What's up, you sexy fools?
Hey, gang, how's it going?
What's up, gang? Lucian Black here, and this is Jeremy. Jeremy, this man is the singer of a band called Cause of Ruin. I interviewed one of his guitarists, Seeger, a while back, and now we got the face right up in here as well.
I'm here.
He's here.
We're doing it.
We're here. We're queer. We're doing
like
it.
Or not.
That's
Bite the pillow.
That's right. And first of all, I just wanted to highlight this man's shirt up in this club. Like, we got Dimebag, and then he's got the vest. I mean, this man is.
I got a new alien.
He's stacked. I hooked him up with the alien. We got to brand this man. Yeah, man. ETs, you got to phone home, bro. So this man, he's vocalist. Now, are you just vocalist? Do you play anything as well?
I play rhythm and lead guitar and do vocals.
Okay.
So.
Hell yeah.
Which I used to not really do as much lead. Our guitar player, Ryan, when he stepped out of the band, I was like, shit, somebody's got to play lead
There's
guitar.
a hole, yeah.
Which I played lead, just not as much. It was kind of like, hey, if I'm singing and playing, he's playing lead. It's one less thing that I got to focus on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even when Seeger joined the band, he's like, hey, man, are you going to do the leads? And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Sure.
He's like, cool.
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted to sit back in the pocket and kind of do his thing.
He wanted to do rhythm and kind of vocals a little bit.
Flavor and flair to it.
Yeah. He wanted to be the seasoning
very well.
man. He wanted to sprinkle some salt and stuff on top, a little lemon pepper. You know, he's like, but we need the main course up in here, and you're like, fucking, I guess, fucking,
yeah. Which Ryan was a hard act to follow. He's a good guitar player, and when I was listening to this, because we played together for a long time, and I'd sit there and watch him solo. And I'm like, that's cool, and I never looked at what he was doing.
Because you're like, that's his thing. I'm in my lane.
I'm in my own little zone doing my thing over here, and then I was like. When I was trying to learn these lead parts, I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing here? I've listened to my ear, and I watched a couple of your videos, and he's just like, just play it in key. I'm like, well, okay. I got a lot of the key parts from the leads that he plays.
Yeah. I
can pick these key parts out and then fill in with kind of my salt and pepper and, my garnish. My paprika in there, which is kind of important. It's kind of like if you were to take that first part out of like a solo like November Rain, if somebody fucked that up, you would know. You're like,
doesn't match. The paint is a little off the canvas here.
Yeah. But that's kind of my approach, how I approached, going about that.
Yeah. So Cause of Ruin, how long have you guys been a band now? I know when I had Seeger on, he said it's been a couple years now.
The band is
well, Seeger's been in it for a couple years. Yeah, but the band itself
for a while now. 2016, I think, is when it got off.
I thought you were about to say 20 years. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
I wish. See, 2016 or 17, so about 8 years.
Yeah.
So, all right, backstory here.
I'm here for it.
So, back in the day, like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
A long time ago, kids.
Yeah. Oh, God. Dude, we shouldn't even talk about it. That seems like last year, and it's not at all.
So, me and my buddy Derek Anthus and then Chris Ward I got together with Derek, and then I was friends with Chris, so I got together with him. And we were all in another band together.
Yeah.
We got together and got a band together, and the drummer at the time, we were thinking of names.
Yeah.
And it was like, Cause of Ruin. He just come up with it. I'm like,
well, it just off the cuff, he just had the band name.
He had a band name.
That's
like,
that's
cool.
A strike of
so
lightning.
We jammed a little bit, but it didn't work out with those guys.
Yeah.
They were trying to put the cart before the horse, and we're like, hey, we need to...
Chicken before the egg, yeah.
Yeah, we need to figure this shit out first before we start making plans,
Yeah.
And then it didn't work out, and we all jammed, and that's kind of how I met Ryan, and anyway... It was one of those things. It was a project that never took off the ground.
Yeah.
We didn't play shows. We wrote a lot of cool music and some tunes and jammed and partied, but
there was a next step that needed to be done.
It didn't kick off the ground, so we were just like, eh. And then I went and worked out on the road for a while, and then when I come back, I started my old metal band, Spirit of Chaos.
Cool.
And we played for off and on for 10 years and played every little fucking hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Played over in St. Louis and then just every fucking where.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, man. Good times.
Hell yeah. And that was called Spirit of Chaos? Yeah. Were you guys a metal band as well?
Yeah. I just played guitar and lead in that band. And that was it. And it was Brian Chop Bernard, Chris Ward, and Derek Anthus.
Okay.
And, like I said, it was off and on for, it was pretty solid for about 5-6 years, and then it kind of just off and on and stuff like that. And
the momentum slowed down.
Yeah,
and
life happens.
Yeah, man. Everybody.
The only thing I can say is just life happens, and that's just we're all still good friends, and they're still good dudes.
It is what it is.
But I still remember those days of just playing every little. The first year we played out, and this was like that was my first real band.
Yeah.
So we played fucking everywhere. Casino Tavern in West Frankfurt.
Fucking why not just get out there?
People were like, what the fuck? We played every little shithole place we could find, and then we get over in St. Louis, and we played all those Sunday night local shows at Pops, and
Oh, you played some Pop shows?
We played some Pop shows.
Sweet, dude. I've seen a lot of really cool bands at Pops. That's a cool venue.
Shows, which I miss the old Foo Bar. It was just like the whole. I kind of like the hole in the wall places.
I do too, man. There's flavor in there. You meet some eclectic people.
The bathrooms are like, what the fuck? But they're cool.
Yeah, it's got seasoning.
It's got seasoning.
She got that paprika.
You go to a nice venue, it's like, oh, this is nice, but it's nice.
Almost too controlled here. There's less juju.
Yeah. There's less fucking juju, man.
Less juju, man, in the atmosphere. So Spirit of Chaos, and you said 2016? Or...
SOC started probably 2010, 2011.
Okay, so that was prior. Okay.
So that was prior. And
because 2016 was when you guys really started going with Chaos.
Derek was the drummer, and
or Cause of Ruin. I'm sorry.
When we took a break, I'd ask Derek, I'm like, hey man, you want to get together with Ryan? He's not racing right now.
Yeah.
You want to get together and jam with him? And Chris, he had some things going on in his life at the time, so we did a couple of practices, and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting Greg Lutz. So it was me, Ryan Criswell, Derek Anthony, and Greg Lutz.
Yeah.
And that lineup rode for 2-3 years maybe. And then Derek respectfully left the band.
Yeah.
Still a good friend of mine.
Sure.
And we ended up getting Steve from Washco and every other band he's played in the county. Like, Steve's a band whore.
Yeah.
Steve has played for everybody.
This man is a slut for music.
He played in like 5 bands at once, and I was in 2 of them.
Holy shit. How do you do that?
Fuck, I don't know how he did
that.
He was very
the commitment, that's crazy. Because I can't even one band while working like a job and just doing your own life is crazy, but like multiple bands, that's so much.
But a lot of those were like people he'd played with over the years, so it was kind of like show up and here's the song.
Jump in, jump out.
And man, Steve, he's a fucking Swiss Army knife. I don't think there's anything he can't cover.
Yeah.
He's very talented.
I would say that's a really interesting compliment as well. A Swiss Army knife. That's really interesting.
A Swiss Army knife, man. He's got it figured out.
So you're playing lead guitar and you're singing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as vocals and stuff, because I listened to Villain and like when I had my vehicle, I would kind of drive around just jam because I'm like, these guys sound good. But not only do they sound good, I'm like, my speakers are actually like really playing it, because it's one thing to like play like a local band or somebody that seemed like they went to like a studio that didn't have the top tier recording quality, but then I'm like, this sounds fucking like quality. This sounds like studio.
If you want to get a recording, you got to pay for it.
Yeah. You
can do a lot with a little. If that's all, if all you got's all you got, hey, make the best out of it. Make 100%. Do with it.
Yeah.
Make do with it. You can make do with 5 crayons.
Yeah.
If that's all you got in the box, make do with it.
Yeah.
But we stumbled upon Mike Miller via my stepson and his dad, because they play musicians.
Oh, cool.
They're musicians. They play musicians.
They play
music. So we stumbled upon Mike Miller because they recorded a song with him, and he lived in New Baden at the time.
Yeah.
And I hit him up, and he's like, yeah, we'll come try a song out, see how, check you guys out.
Sure.
We went and re-recorded a song, and then he had us back to record 2 more songs, which were on the initial demo.
Yeah.
And right away, we were like, yeah.
This is sounding...
And he's been recording for, 14 years or so.
Yeah.
But at the time, of course, it was 8 years ago, it was the price was like, okay, we're going to pay a little bit extra, but we're not paying an outrageous amount of money to record.
Median, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously prices went up a little bit since then, but we did that recording, and we've recorded everything with Mike Miller.
Yeah.
And we just got done recording the new EP that's going to come out, 5 songs. And so I was going to ask you about that.
Cool.
The demo and then 3 EPs, and we've done everything with Mike. He is, unfortunately, he's happy about it, but he's moving to LA.
Oh shit!
To do audio engineering and audio stuff, because he does audio stuff on the side while he records bands and yada yada.
Yeah.
But
next step for himself.
Yeah, he's moving to LA, so which was kind of like
bittersweet.
It was a bummer,
now you got to find a new one. It's like finding a new fucking plug,
which is good because there's a lot more stuff out there. You know? And Seeger and the guys know some people, and there's some names here and there that we've picked up. But man, just the relationship we've established with Mike, and every time we get to record with him, he knows our sound. He kind of helps produce a little bit. Like we show up with our scratch tracks.
Yeah,
everything's there. Here's what we got.
Yeah.
And then he comes and, hey, let's try this pedal. Or let's try this right here.
Yeah.
Or, hey, when you're doing this, do this.
Okay, so he's also helpful. You don't just show up and just record. He's like, let me give you my little bit.
He gives creative input, and he's a super cool dude, and I think it's helped out a lot.
Yeah.
But it's still sad.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be bittersweet because you're like, man, we've accomplished all this stuff with this one person, and now we got to find like a new. But you know what? The good thing about that is you could find another person that could even promote even like another next level of Cause of Ruin.
Possible.
You know what I mean? Like, or another eclectic kind of perspective of like metal music and stuff. So as far as like vocals and stuff, like for Cause of Ruin, so you do screaming, like you do. I've heard you have a velocity of a range of scream. You could do like the lows and the highs, which both of them like kind of blew my mind because I'm like, it's one thing to do the and then the. And you can hit the fucking highs, which like I'll be hearing that shit. I'll be like punching like my steering wheel. I'll be like, yeah, like fucking yeah.
I had to figure that out.
Yeah, I heard that's a process.
Before we recorded the Villain EP, I had to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're doing some heavier stuff, which is what I like. But even on the truck stop one, there's some aggressive vocals, but it's not like Villain was. And I'm like, I gotta figure this shit out. So I started looking up, how-to videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to figure the technique and the process out,
Yeah.
And doing vocal warm-ups. I'd never really done vocal warm-ups. And
yeah, that's the thing.
Seeger joined the band. He's like, you don't do vocal warm-ups? I'm like, fuck no, I just do a couple shots and I lemmy it.
You don't do yoga before you run? Like
I just lemmy it, which for some people that can work. But for what I was wanting to get, out of myself, I'm like, man, I gotta get my shit together.
You jump into vocals, you'd be like, parkour.
Parkour. Yeah. But I ended up kind of figuring that out. And, it really helped out quite a bit.
Yeah, because that's a lot of diaphragm working.
To it.
Yeah.
And the warm-up, doing vocal warm-ups, like you can get on Spotify and go Von Jacobs vocal warm-ups.
Yeah.
And you do all these vocal warm-ups, and then wow, what the hell? It's kind of like a what the fuck moment. Yeah. It's like, wow, this really does work,
Fuck yeah.
But some people...
Well, because it's one thing to be an idea, and you're like, it might work, and then you do it, and you're like, oh my God, like there's an evolution of my own voice here, and you're like hearing the differences. You're like, damn, shit.
I didn't know if I'd ever sound that good.
Yeah, you're like, Daddy be sounding a little good here. I kind of like this a little bit.
Yeah.
So as far as like your writing style, like, so I think Seeger said he will help write every once in a while a little bit, but I think writing is mostly your thing, right? Like writing and creating the lyrics and stuff, right? Or do you have
kind of back and
process
forth now? Like
so it's pretty open for the band.
Yeah, when them guys came along, especially when Seeger came along, it's more like when we write a song, it's usually just like a riff. Somebody's got a riff.
Oh, so the sound comes and then you feel the sound and then you write to what it makes you feel like.
I don't really sit down and jot down lyrics. Yeah. I'm not a poet. I don't. Yeah. It's just not how I operate.
Yeah.
I wait till it's all. I pull the Maynard card.
Yeah.
I wait till it's all done, and then I feel how this song sounds to me.
What it activates in you.
What could I write? It's like a painting. I'm going in and adding mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I usually just wait till it's all done, and I feel the vibe of the song out, and I'm going to go, you know what? This is what I think about this. And this is, and then Seeger's got lyrics, and I'll take some of his lyrics and I might rearrange them, but they're his lyrics, and I'll keep the concept. I'm like, I'll make them my own concept, and
your own baby.
It works, But
so like, what age? Have you always wanted to do singing and screaming, or did you have an age?
I fell into that shit.
Really? So just like accidentally, just face first, where it's like, oh, here it is.
Well, back in the day, whenever of course we were all jamming, and it didn't work out with those other two guys. And we went back to square one. I was like, well, hell, I'll sing, I mean, I can sing in my truck,
There's got to be something there.
There's got to be something to it, and I just kind of fell into it. My old band, Spirit of Chaos, I didn't sing in. I did backups, and I just play guitar.
Okay,
which is, where I've always kind of been comfortable at.
Yeah.
But even now, it's like, I don't know. I like James Hetfield. Guitar player singers.
Yeah.
There's kind of something to it. 'Cause some of the songs that, like, he does and Mustaine does and some of these other singer-guitar player guys, it's like, how in the fuck are they doing that?
That's complicated. I watch a lot of
playing Blackened or Tornadoes of Souls and singing on top of that. I can barely walk and chew gum.
Dude, I'm saying. I mean, like, so it's one thing to just play acoustic and sing at your own pace, but then being like in a fucking heavy band and play guitar and sing, but also I can't even fathom the concept of screaming.
Matt Bruck from Bullock from Our Valentine and Rob Flynn from Machine Head. How guys like that play the more aggressive stuff. And
wait, you mean Matt Tuck?
Matt
Tuck? Oh my, that's my favorite band of all time. Straight up. I've been listening to those guys since 2005. I'm obsessed.
I've seen them 2 or 3 times, I think.
I will cry. I've still not seen them. I'm mad about it. I know.
Go.
Dude, they're doing a
seen that. I know what you're talking about. With Trivium.
Yeah!
They're doing a tour with Trivium.
I'm so pissed because it's only in the UK. And I'm like, what?
Oh.
Dicks.
Well, that's a letdown.
Because they're both, I think, from that area. So they're like, hey, let's kind of, squeeze some juice out of this. We're both,
They'll come to the U.S. I'm sure they will.
It'd be like Harold and Kumar goes to White Castle. Because me and my buddy George have been listening to these guys since we were fucking like 15, 16. So that's like the pinnacle of our friendship is this one metal band. So we're like, we haven't seen them and we're in our 30s. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
When we go watch Bullock, we're going to lose our fucking minds.
Yeah.
But, so you like Bullock? So Bullock's a good. You like Bullock?
I dig him.
Have you listened to the last album? It was like a self-titled. It was just called Bullock from My Valentine. I think it came out like a year ago.
It strolls through on my Spotify sometimes if I just put it on like metal.
It's a good ass fucking album, dude. Because they had an album that came out prior where I think Tuck was going through like a divorce with a kid, and like this whole album seemed more of a concept album. It was called Gravity, and it seemed more softer. There was like heavy parts in it, but it was more like wah.
Wah.
Divorce. Like you could feel like this man talk about some deep shit, and then this new self-titled comes out, and you're like, the metal, like the new metal, you would say, because they're more new metal or thrashy, which you guys have a lot of thrashiness about you, and that's what I fucking love. Because I'll be listening, I'll be like,
man.
Got a white knuckle grip my steering wheel. You know what I mean? That's the kind of music, especially metal, that I like. Is something where you're like, I don't know, something that takes control of you.
Groove and thrash, man. I really like groove and thrash. If you got something that's like makes people do this, and everybody's different,
Yeah.
Some people like faster stuff. Some people like the slower groove stuff, but like the punchy groove stuff, man, 9 times out of 10 will make somebody bob their head up and down. If you're doing that, they're digging something.
Yeah, dude. If I was ever back in a band, Dimebag,
groove, man.
100.
The groove machine.
I've been playing with the idea of getting back into music because when I was younger, I'm 35 now, and we were just talking about that. Like when I was 18, I was in a local I don't even remember what our genre would be. More death metal, more Whitechapel. We were called Giddy Up Gangsta. I was the bass player because I was just trying to like establish my name in the local music community because I hadn't been in bands and stuff. So I'm like, let me just jump in a band and fuck around and find out, And it was brutal. It was fun as fuck because like you could just it was punchy. And man, those guys were fun. But I'm like, I miss the shows, I miss the energy and like just the live performance of it. So I've been really entertaining like the concept of jumping back into something because I got a bunch of days off a week now. So I'm like, I can actually like fuck around with this. And, but I'm like, what would the type of genre I would be? And I'm like, it'd have to be metal. Like it would have to, because there's so much energy in metal. Because metal, not only just musically and like the punchy drums, the double bass, and the guitar. Like the lyrics can be deep as hell, because a lot of metal is like about like rough shit, heartbreak, and just like grindy, sandpapery.
It's aggressive blues. Dude. It's aggressive blues.
I've never heard that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's aggressive blues.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's cool. That's fucking yeah. It's
metal is aggressive blues.
It's fast, aggressive,
I mean, you listen
Moody
to,
blues.
like Pantera, there's a lot of Texas blues influence there. ZZ Top, Stevie Ray, Buddy Guy type stuff like that. And just that, you're down tune a guitar and then you play that down, 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 down. You play I'm Broken riff and it's like, people will turn their head. You know what I mean? So.
Hell yeah. Well, so you said you guys are about to release a new EP or a couple?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We just got done recording everything. And Mike's going to mix and master it.
Yeah.
We're just waiting on some mixes right now. So they'll send us a mix, and that's making sure all the levels are, copacetic and the way that we want them, which he's got a really good ear for that stuff. And then he'll take that, and then he'll do the final mastering part. And then that's fucking it, man. He'll give us the mixes, and we'll listen to them in like a truck or something with a good sound
to see
system.
If it really...
really sounds good.
Because that's where people are going to listen to you, is on the road.
And then we'll get all that squared away, and then we'll start with the artwork. We're kind of dabbling with the artwork. Like, here's a concept. Let's narrow it down to what we want, and then we'll send it off to Kyle Bissell from Drift Loud Audio. Yeah. And then, bam.
Oh, so what's it called?
Drift Loud Audio. So Kyle does.
No, I mean like your EP. Like,
EP?
Do you have it yet? Like the. Okay, am I not? Okay.
I don't want to say yet.
Okay. So it's in the ether. It's in the okay.
If I do, I'll be like, hey man, what the fuck?
Okay,
what'd you say?
Can we get like a possible like a month or two, a couple months when
I'd
might
say
get
at least in the next couple of months we'll be able to drop it out.
Okay.
Finding the right time because we want to do like an EP release, but putting the cart before the horse, we gotta get A and B squared away. Before we can put C in action. So.
Yeah, and plus you guys are musicians and I think a lot of you are freaking dads and also work full-time jobs and careers. So you're
Life, and work and hobbies. And it's like
still planning out a whole freaking EP out of this shit.
We stay pretty, for the most part, we stay pretty busy.
Yeah.
Our thing is, especially now lately in the last couple, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Especially since, them guys have joined the band is we're like a crock pot. We're just a slow cook. We're slow cooking.
Yeah.
We're not trying to cook it fast.
That's where the flavor comes from, though.
We want this slow cook so that way. And not only that, if we take our time, we're going to stay a while. We want to be around for a good long while longer. Yeah. And keep writing and recording and playing shows and doing this stuff. Yeah. Because it's something that, we love to do. It's something that we enjoy. You know what I mean? And people enjoy it. And I feel like if you take sometimes it's best just to take the long road. Yeah. Rather than the straight lane highway.
Well, the obvious. It's easier to take the quick path to the top of the mountain. Someone can pick you up in a helicopter and just put you there. Yeah. Or the whole experience to get there. It's like seems so much sweeter because
things you see and experience when you're getting to the top of that mountain or whatever destination you're going to. Yeah. It's those things that you experience along the way rather than just trying to take the quick route. We don't want to do that.
Well, it's all those small intricacies of like the creation process that, if I almost wonder if nowadays, like labels and like big time labels like Interscope and like Sumerian and stuff like that, if just having somebody that just goes straight to a certain sound cuts off certain creative things where you're like, we might need to grind through these sounds and take the time for each individual recording and every single instrument, rather than be like, we're okay with this, but just master it. Boom. Yeah. So as far as like bands and stuff locally, have you what local bands have you guys played with that you like so far? And when did you guys play last?
The last show we played was the Granada with we played with Wendigo and Broken Circle. Okay. And they were both fucking killer. They were cool. It was awesome. It was a good time. Those guys, like, especially Broken Circle, I've known Uncle Dave and Neil and Rube. Well, Rube's in Wendigo, but I've known them guys for a long time. Yeah. And Broken Circle, if you haven't seen them, you have to go see it. Yeah. If you listen to it, you're like, okay. But if you go see them perform live with all the different instruments and, it's worth seeing. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Well, and I've seen this gentleman in Seeger and the band Cause of Ruin. That was the only part of the show I think I was sober for at the So like I think I had just gotten off of work and Cause of Ruin, Jeremy and Seeger and everybody, they were I think you were the second band up for Psycho Stick. There was a band first that was really good. They were unique. I can't remember who they were, but I loved them. And so, but I was fasting through my shift at work. And then I got off work and my buddy George was like, all right, we got to go. So I'm like, all right, 6 chicken tenders from Hardee's and we're going. And then I got like 7 shots to prepare. And I ate the chicken tenders and then took 4 of the shots on the way, all the way from Carterville to Mount Vernon. And
you were primed up.
Oh, God. I was Amazon primed. But by the time I got there, I was feeling good. And then I went through the second band. I was just like, fucking, like, these guys were fun. And then you guys came up. I'm like, I know Seeger from high school. So I'm like fangirl on the front. But even more than that, I'm like, you guys have such a fucking like presence on stage. Like you guys, and I think Hayes was at the top, I think, at the time. And then like the fact that he like flavored that lemon pepper on top with the lights, like y'all looked killer. So I was just like losing my shit. I was like getting just like amped. So I'd go up to that little bar in the Granada and be like, give me a Jack and Coke. Like, but I had already been drinking. So long story short, after the end of Cause of Ruin's show, like I fucking like, just like you guys shredded and I was just like fucking I loved it. But then I lost my shit. I passed out like
game on.
I didn't pass out, but I like fell asleep like on the side. Like you guys got done and there's these like seatings, these chairs in like the down area. And then I think Psycho Stick was up after you guys or a band right after that.
They were right after us. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like asleep like this and then I remember like waking up and just be like,
time to puke.
And I was like a vomiting dragon. I just like vomited all the way to the bathroom.
I seen a trail of puke and I'm like,
that was me.
Well, that's a bad day. And
that was
fucking
that was Hardee's and vodka. But I was there. Well, the bittersweet thing is I've been listening to Psycho Stick also since high school, like 2007 probably. So like beer is good, and like 2-ton paperweight where the dude's talking about his car being a piece of shit, like that. I love what they're doing because it's like comedy metal, which is such an interesting.
They got a niche there. They found a thing and ran with it and it panned out.
Still going.
It's
so different.
To be original is it's tough. You got to be yourself. Like, I think we have, and I'm just tooting the old horn ski here, which I don't normally do.
Yeah.
But to be it, we got to stay original. You just got to be yourself, man.
Yeah.
If you want to be original, you want to have some sort of original sound. You just got to be yourself. Like you're talking about the stage presence. That's just all natural.
Yeah.
That's 4 guys up there having a pregame shot.
Yeah.
And that's 4 dudes just locking in to each other's vibe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vibing going out there, as the kids would say.
Yeah.
It's a big vibe up there.
Whole lot of loving going on.
It is, and it's all organic, just up there doing the thing, man. It's not an act.
Yeah.
I'm not, when I play my guitar and I'm really getting into the solo, which, I'm proud of.
Yeah.
It's not an act. I'm not trying to sell.
You don't have a ghost guitar player behind the stage just playing for you.
You sell it as a musician, you kind of sell it a little bit.
You got to make it a little sexy.
You got to make a little bit,
throw the Captain Morgan leg up a little bit,
But for the most part, it's just up there and feeling it, man,
Yeah.
And that's what, for me, like, playing out live and getting that feeling, that's the payday for me.
Yeah, man. Well, you're activating a presence, and not only are you just doing it like with yourself, it's such an interesting experience to be playing music with your friends and like to be having this shared experience where like this is just fucking, this is us, this is fun, it's something, you're activating something. So as far as I know, last time when Seeger was on here, we talked about the concept of touring. Have you guys still ever played with that idea? Because I know you're both dads working full-time jobs and stuff. Have you messed with the concept at all, or like about going at least a couple states wide?
We went in the early days of Cause Run. Me, Greg, Derek, and Ryan went to. So we went to Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And we played a gig there. And then we stayed at a hotel, and then we trucked to Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Just on the outskirts.
Yeah.
And it was a little club, and we played that, and then we come back. And then we went to, when Steve joined the band, I think we went up to the Looney Bin up by Bradley, Illinois.
Yeah.
And it's a cool little hole-in-the-wall place.
Okay. And them holes in the walls, you love them bitches?
We went there, and we played, and we played over in Evansville area. Like, we've gone out of state.
Yeah.
St. Louis and stuff like that. But
slowly branching out.
It would be cool to do, like, a run of at least 3 days.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of realistic in our wheelhouse. It might be possible down the road sometime, you know. That would be cool to do. Just do like 3 days straight. And then
knock out 3 whole days and come back to the fam.
It would be cool.
Yeah,
you
go back to work.
I've done 2 days and it was cool. It was an experience.
Yeah.
For us, I think maybe 2 or 3 days is feasible.
Yeah.
You know, just life, and you'd have to give up a lot of there's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, man.
From band people that I know that have went out and done it. And it's a sacrifice. It's what are you willing to sacrifice, you know, for
because then you have your job, your family, your kids, you know what I mean? Like, if I did something like that, I'm a single man and I'd be chilling in a single bedroom apartment. I could probably disappear for 2 months and just go fully into something. But I don't have kids to take care of. I don't have to, like, sprinkle energy in their direction. And then also, you know, my jobs, you know, I have 2 jobs, but I can have time off from there as much as I need as well.
Go out on the road, be broke, and come back with no money. You hear about, you know, bands make money now off of touring and merch, you know, with streaming and, you know, things the way they are now. Nobody really makes people buy like music at the show, like you said. They'll buy an EP because they want that. Oh, that's cool.
The physical,
They want the physical copy and stuff, or like a vinyl or something like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, who makes money off of records anymore?
It's all digital, man, and it's a new age. It's like bands and musicians in general now, they have to make these giant adjustments because it used to be about labels, and when you get signed, and then they will open the door to all these things you need as far as like producing and putting the stuff out there, getting on the radio. You don't need any of it.
I watched a interview with Chad Gray, and he was like, "You don't need it now."
Yeah.
Back when Mudvayne was first kicking around.
Yeah.
You know, that was the goal.
Yeah.
But now he's like, you don't fucking need it. You can literally do everything. We're doing it right here. We're doing a podcast.
We're literally doing this right here.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
You know, you're doing all this yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And over time, hey, you never know what can happen. You get more followers, more people catching attention to things.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you never know, like, the right lyric or the right feeling or the right, like, fucking part of a segment of a song that's gonna, like, reach somebody.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain segments of a musician or a clip of a video or a song. They'll be playing guitar or something or singing on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or something, and then you could tell it, like, this single moment captured thousands of people. This one line or the mixture of the drums, the sound, and it just goes all over the internet. And then suddenly this band that's just been grinding for a hot minute, just everybody knows them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of strange because, you know, we're now, like, we're in this virtual world now where everything's just online. You can set up your own merchandise online and just have a link to your shop where some dude in another state makes the merchandise, someone buys it, and then you split the profit whatever way, and then the bands are getting the money, and all they're doing is sharing a link.
Yeah, that's the way we do it with Kyle. We go through him, and then he's our pusher man.
Yeah, the pusher man.
He's the pusher man.
Yeah, the soggy bottom boy.
A distributor place distributed it, and it works out great. Like, back in the day, if you would have told me that, I'm like, huh? But things weren't that way. Nowadays, it's the accessibility of things nowadays, you know. It makes it for anybody can do it, man, which is a good thing.
Fast, too.
It's a good thing, but also on the other side of the coin, it's like everybody can do it, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Because then it's harder to fight for originality.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, everyone can make a badass hoodie and then, like, deliver just, like, a shit of an album. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen artists where I'm like, that's a fucking killer fucking logo. And I'll look at the merch. I'm like, they got that shit down. I'll listen to them. I'm like, oh, you guys,
ain't doing it for you.
People will buy just the logo or like the merch and be like, this is a cool shirt, and don't give a damn about the artist. And I'm like, yeah, there's some complication to that. But, like, that's the cool thing about it today too, is like you could put stuff out there, like taking time to, like, link up what your merch and your logo and everything is with, like, how your band feels. And we were talking about that earlier too, with, like, AI creating logos and stuff. Yeah. And you can really fine tune, like, what's the emotionality, the feeling of our band, what is the visual that we're painting here. And it's interesting. So, like, at what age did you start playing guitar? Have you just always known you wanted to be in guitar? Did somebody just give you a guitar and you just started messing around one day?
Whenever I got my first guitar when I was 14 or 15. It was acoustic.
A baby.
I wanted an electric guitar. I was like, I want an electric guitar. Because I think I had like a relative, like a cousin or somebody that played, and I was like, I'd sit and watch him play like some cool riffs. Like, that's cool. And I was like, it was always like music and stuff like that. But I'd asked for a guitar, and I got an acoustic, and it was a Christmas.
That's a whole different vibe.
I was excited, but I was like, an acoustic.
That's a different vibe.
So it came with a book. It had all these fucking, like, Mary Had a Little Lamb type crap in it. And my dad was like, you got to learn this book, and then I'll get you another book. And then, and I'm like, I want electric. He goes, well, you need to learn how to play an acoustic.
Oh, you don't?
Play this acoustic, learn on it, and then we'll get you an electric. Which you don't need to fucking do.
No.
However,
knowing your genre,
learning these things, I'm like, it didn't enthuse me, so I didn't. I put it in the fucking closet.
Yeah.
And I think maybe a year later I picked it back up, and I was like, I just started messing around with some chords and stuff because some friends of mine had played at high school, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I went home and tried this little chord or something. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then a buddy of mine showed me how to drop D tune.
Oh,
and I was like,
oh, game over.
What the fuck? And I started playing like the Beautiful People riff by Manson.
Yeah.
Walk was easier to. I'm like, all these songs are easier to play, and so really, what really dove me into playing guitar, wanting to be a guitar player, was learning all the songs that I liked at the time. I was big in like Mudvayne and Static X and a lot of the new metal stuff, and then I like Black Sabbath and all the classic rock stuff, and then even some country stuff because my dad was pretty much country western and mom was rock and roll. So
cool.
I got the best of
nice
both of
mix
it.
of that. Yeah.
So I started diving in and playing like Audio Slave songs and stuff, and just finding these songs that I could play. And the place I was working at the time, they had a computer, so I was like, my buddy was like, hey, you can get the tabs. I'm like, what's a tab?
Yeah.
Well, the Guitar World magazine, they always had tabs. I'm like, so I can get on the internet and get these for free? Cool. I want to learn this song.
Lose your damn mind.
And I'm just sitting there, and I just spent hours just playing songs that I wanted to learn how to play because it's what I wanted to learn. It's what inspired me, So if there's any kids out there, play what you want to play.
Yeah, stay in your lane because the thing that makes you feel most passionate.
Whatever
that's the
inspires
key.
you.
Yeah.
It's like a painter that's inspired to paint a certain way of painting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, it's no different, man.
Dude, when I first... Humble beginnings, because for me, I was a drummer from 6th grade to the end of high school. Like, I was on the high school drum line, so I, like, really got better at it. And I liked kits, and I liked double bass, and I had this... My genre was somewhere between, like, the used Sum 41 and... Avenged Sevenfold. So it was pretty open, but there was still a lane. So I learned Unholy Confessions with my first BC Rich guitar, the Warlock.
Yeah.
Which is a cheap fucking guitar, but like the look of it was just fucking gnarly.
That looks metal. I knew that.
That looks like an ice pick that I could stab somebody with. So I'm getting So I learned Unholy Confessions, and that like changed. I was just like, but what's weird is there was one song that made me want to learn guitar. I was like fucking 12 or some shit. Do you remember that band? SR71.
That's familiar.
There's a song called, can't remember what the song's called, but I had another guy on here. We talked about the song. I can't remember the title, but the song, it was more of a punk rock band. The chorus said, Why you always kick me when I'm high?
Oh, okay.
Knock me down till we see eye to
Yep.
eye. So the opening guitar riff was and I don't know what it was. I was like 12 years old. I heard that riff and I was like, I want it. And that's actually the only reason I learned electric because I was like, there's this one sound, and I was like, I want to know how to do that.
How do they do that lick or that riff? You know what I
the
mean?
origins. That's the coolest thing to me, is to learn people's origins about like, where did the music start? Where did the band start? Where did this get cultivated?
Yeah.
So like bands,
it's their interpretation of an inspiration.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
What's the meat and potatoes of your stew?
Of your stew.
Your witch's brew. So, as far as bands that you've shared the stage with, what are some bands that you really would be like, this would be really fucking cool to at least share the stage or even possibly collaborate with, whether it's like locally or like one like Secret Guilty thing where you're like, that would be fucking gnarly.
Oh, Pantera.
I don't know why I felt like I knew that was coming.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Me and Seeger. And
I know he's
Steve,
a Pantera fan. Yeah.
And my buddy Zach, we all went to the show over there at the Dome. Metallica and Pantera, and then Wolfgang was over there.
Okay.
And it was super good. We were nosebleeding it, but dude, I had the time of my fucking life.
Fuck yeah.
And I cried like a little girl when Pantera got on.
Really?
I don't.
It was an emotional experience.
I got to see Pantera.
Yeah.
Even though it was half of the original members, and of course, you got Zakk Wylde on there crushing it, and Charlie Benedetti from Anthrax. That was great for me.
Oh, you got the patch right fucking there. Yeah.
It was fucking great. I had the time of my life, and then I got to see Metallica. I'm like, I always thought, man, I never get to catch them. The tickets are too much. But I finally got to see Metallica, and I was like, it's fucking awesome. So one of these days you got to go see fucking your dream band.
Metallica's actually still up there too. I would love.
Well, for my Valentine, they'll come through.
Oh, they fucking better.
They'll come through.
They're like the love of my life in music form, and like I've watched the evolution of these. So back when MySpace was a thing, I've always wanted to be in music, but when I was younger, I could never find people committed to bands. So I was like, I gotta express something. Like it's gotta get out. So I just bought a $8 microphone from Walmart. Yeah. And I got this music program, Magic. So I just started rapping because I hated rap. So it was more like my music thing started as comedy. So I was making fun of rap it was kind of like a Weird Al comedy thing of like rap.
Making fun of rap by singing rap.
Yeah, and then I got better at it because I have like a percussive background. So I had flow and I didn't even like think about it. And I got better at it. And then I got into rap and I'm like, this is weird. This is different. But in retrospect, I got into this music and it like changed my whole paradigm of what I thought music was, because I was like, oh. And that actually got me more into Linkin Park and stuff like that, because it wasn't just like they're definitely, I would say, nu metal, like a Meteora and stuff like that, where I was like, oh shit, they can like fucking have these heavy riffs.
They had the hip hop flow.
Yeah, they had some flow in there and stuff. That. Yeah, but so MySpace, there was a time when Bullock and Valentine really just started off, and my just like ghetto rap career, whatever the fuck I was doing back then, just fucking around the internet, I had like twice the following in like music plays and on MySpace as Bullock and Valentine, and I had a couple messages with August Burns Red. And because this was like the young part of the social media growth for musicians, where you could still put profile like players and stuff. And it's weird.
We had it good, and then it all went to shit.
Then fucking Zuckerberg, man.
Zuckerberg fucked it all up.
Dude, music, we still need that. Like, we need some way to highlight music, but now it's all external right now. You have to go to Spotify. You have to go to fucking Apple Music or iTunes. You can't just, like, go to... People mostly use Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram and all these apps, but there's no, like... Nothing incorporated with your profile with, like, here's songs that represent me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been listening to Bullet since LimeWire, on
LimeWire days.
Yeah, that's how I downloaded their first album. Was just like waiting for fucking a week straight of dial-up internet to just download trickles of kilobytes per second, and I deserved that music. You know what I mean? Like I worked for it. But yeah, that would be a really, really freaking cool band. So where are you from? You from the Mount Vernon area?
Yeah, from Mount Vernon.
Mount Vernon.
Yep.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Hell yeah, and you're a welder as well.
Yep, I'm a welder by trade.
Hell yeah.
I've done that since I was 19. It was one of those I fell into it.
Yeah.
I traded my computer class for shop class because I wanted to hang out with my friends and make sparks and burn things. You know.
It's fun.
I was the anthill kid. You know. I
Yeah.
wanted to do that shit, and I just fell into it. I had a knack for it, and my dad, you know, he was like, "Hey, it looks pretty." I took like a sample of a weld piece home.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Dad, check this out. I learned how to weld. And he goes, "That's pretty good. Keep it up. You get better, you know." And I kept it up, and they had some welding competition, and I ended up getting first place. So I got a scholarship.
Yeah.
To Rend Lake.
Hell yeah.
For the trade program or whatever. So I kind of fell in. I feel like I fell into things in my life.
like the universe be working with you.
Maybe, you know, I never really. It's like the Joker. It's like, do I look like a guy that plans things? You know, sometimes it's better just to let the universe throw whatever they throw at you.
You just embrace change.
Yeah, just roll with it, man.
Flow state, Bray.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been doing that for a living for a long time. It's like, it's what I do. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think, man, could I do a career change at this point in my life? And I'm sure, I could.
Yeah.
If I really put myself to it.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's like, it's what I know, it's what I do.
It's scary. Like, new can be pretty scary, especially if you're used to a field that pays the bills and you know, like, what you are capable of with it.
Yeah. When the risk, like we were talking about earlier, like going out and touring and stuff. It's like, there's a lot on the line for everybody, so it's the risk just isn't worth, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, because you can't see the fucking glass of juice yet. So you're like, I don't know if I want to fucking pluck that orange yet.
But...
Well, what are some, like, careers and stuff you thought about, like, things?
I like to cook.
Interesting.
I like to fucking cook. Man.
You gotta look that you could sell a cooking channel and nobody would expect it.
To cook. I'm always like cooking, barbecuing. Like I do most of the majority of cooking anyway at home. My wife, she can cook, but I like to fire the grill up. I could grill I'm a year-round grill guy. I will grill.
You'll be out there in fucking 20-degree temperatures, like we flipping these steaks, bro.
Doesn't matter. I'm out there cooking.
Fuck yeah.
I like to cook.
Also, food's a love language for you as well, Dan. Oh yeah, that's fucking. Oh, dude. I made this, like, teriyaki, this ginger soy teriyaki beef mixture of things last night. Man, it accidentally ended up being just delicious. I like Oriental flavors and stuff. Just, I don't know why.
Try it out, man.
A lot of vegetables and a lot of meat. You got to get that iron.
I'm all the time sharing recipes with my boss, I'm like, hey, how do you do your ribs? Or how do you do this? Or how do you do your brisket,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Plus, grew up watching my mom cook, we had 5 kids, and she could take nothing and make something and feed 5
Scratch
kids,
cooking, baby.
Scratch cooking, it's just like, I didn't really start learning how to cook till I started meal prepping, cooking my own lunches and breakfasts and stuff, learning how to meal prep and stuff like that.
Sure.
I mean, I could cook, but it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So, but
well, like anything, it's an expression. Like, cooking is actually creative. I accidentally discovered shrimp scampi when I was like 20. Where I was just like, that was my favorite thing on the planet at the time. And my taste buds have changed. I am older now. My taste buds just are different now. I don't love the same things. I like different things now. But like I was like imagining the flavors of like, what do I think shrimp scampi tastes like? I'm like mentally sitting there like garlic, cream, butter, shrimp, salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of lemon juice. And like I actually made shrimp scampi without looking things up, but like before Google was even heavily influential to just find recipes.
Yeah.
And I ended up making shrimp scampi. And I'm like, oh my god, you can actually like this is like the creative. It's like art for just cooking things.
The people that are really good at like presentation, like you go to a nice restaurant and everything's, it's like you're just shoveling this shit in your mouth anyway.
Yeah.
But on the art side of it, it's their presentation of this dish and this meal.
Yeah.
And you're tasting their, oh man, what's the word? Their passion and their craft.
Yeah.
You're going, oh wow, this is great. Thank you. Give the compliments to my chef.
Yeah.
Them if they just slopped it on a fucking plate and sent it to you, you wouldn't be as enticed to eat that. You're like, well.
Yeah, it's a burger. Okay, I've had a million of these.
It's okay. I'll eat this burger. But when you see something that's prepared nice, and they bring it out and it's presentable.
It's got zhuzh and juju.
Yeah, it's not like going to fast food. They wrap it up and they put it in there, and it's fast food. It is what it is.
Wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. When you go somewhere and you get a nice burger or a nice steak or something.
Yeah.
And by someone who actually likes to cook and
cares about what they're putting out there.
Cook, it's pretty good.
Well, that's the biggest thing about any kind of creative expression is just like you care about what you're putting out there. And that's why you're talking about like taking your time in the process. Yep. And it's less about rushing the process and knowing what you're putting out there. Have you ever been to underground, still food based, have you been to Underground Public House in Carbondale? Oh man, if you're looking to take the wifey on a fucking nice ass, expensive but worth every taste bud you're gonna get out of there. Mm-hmm. The owner Josh, I believe he went to school for he is such an amazing chef. This man, everything I've seen come out of that kitchen was literally art.
What's the place called?
Underground Public House in Carbondale. Oh my god. It's expensive because you're paying for what you're getting. And the food is just magnificent. And I'm not even a person that knows that much about taste buds but I've tried so many different things there. And every dish is cultivated to be its own kind of thing. Yeah. They have a jackfruit sandwich that's like I think it's like a spicy jackfruit barbecue sandwich or something. And like it just like activates all these different taste buds. It's just like a creative expression. You go in there like whatever I'm getting is gonna be different. And it's a small place, but it's fine dining at the same time. So it's got its own elements and stuff.
I watched I don't know if there's a new season of it yet. It's some barbecue show or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got all these people on there, and they have to. Here's their way of cooking it. Here's the method they have to use, and then here's the ingredients, and then they make it happen.
Okay.
And I'm just like, dude, I dove into that damn show. I got hooked in. I'm like, I could do that. Up here, I'm like, I could do that. And then I go to my kitchen, I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
I can't do that.
I don't think I can quite do
Maybe
it
you need the
do.
pressure is what it is.
Maybe.
You know? Maybe you just need that little prod. Somebody be like,
I don't know how them people do it on that Gordon Ramsay show. I almost wonder how much of that show is fabricated.
Oh, a lot of those shows are fabricated, though.
A lot of them are. Reality TV's what it is. It's fabricated TV. But I like watching it.
It's entertaining. Did you ever watch that bar rescue show where the...
Yeah, John Tapper.
Yeah. That dude, he's got like this fucking almost like mob boss fucking...
He does. He looks like a mob boss.
He looks like alternate universe Steven Seagal. Like,
but I wonder how much of that stuff is scripted. And
Bar Rescue's all scripted.
Because you can cut... There's a couple of the episodes, me and the old lady sitting there watching it, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, that's fucking fake as shit.
This is bad acting.
It's very bad acting.
Yeah, like the bar owner comes in, he's just like, what do you think you're doing?
I didn't know this happened. Oh.
Stop it. Get out of here. Like you're like, why are you NPCing right now, bro?
Yeah.
Like, this is, all right. I think a lot of it, a situation will happen and they'll be like, oh, that was good. Redo it. And then,
Yeah, probably.
It is what it is. So first band was Spirit of Chaos, right?
That was my first.
That was your very first baby.
That was my very first band, yep.
Yeah.
And then Cause of Ruin, still going. I played with Rob Wisenhunt in a project we had called Liberty Bell.
Liberty Bell, that's an interesting name.
And then I played guitar for him and his solo stuff, and I've recorded and wrote music with him.
Yeah.
I played in Steve-O's other band. It's more like a southern metal band.
Cool.
Some Kind of Chaos.
Yeah.
I've got up and played songs with like Washco and like other bands and musicians, stuff like that.
Did you ever mess with the band? Damn it, they were just on my mind. It's right there. It is right there.
I like learning.
He Is Legend. Did you ever listen to He Is Legend? They're like a southern rock metal band. Oh man, they're not around anymore, I don't think, but definitely worth a gander.
Even before the Seeger was in the band or anything like that.
Yeah.
I learned Orbital. I watched him play the riff, and I'm like, because I'm a guitar nerd.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there watching him play. I'm like, the Orbital was my favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
So I went home and I'm like, I started figuring it out, and then the next time we got together, I sound checked with that riff, and he just goes,
I see you.
Yeah. I always like sound checking with other bands' riffs, just because it's like, hey, I can play your songs too if you.
It's like a shot in the dark. Oh, okay, you're like
a guy
auditioning here, bro.
Yeah.
I be knowing, like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun though.
Hell yeah, fucking. So okay, so you got a new P. They might have a title, but I can't
say anything.
We go.
I probably could, but
we ain't gonna ask for the queso. We'll just go with the chips right now.
I'll give one little spoiler. There's gonna be a cover of a song on there, and we got a lot of good feedback and reaction from it.
Okay.
So we recorded it.
Nifty. Rendition.
Our rendition of it, and the funny thing is we were talking about like. All it takes is one little riff or one little sound bite or one song, and we're gonna be like, what? Cause of Ruin's been a band for 8 years now. This will probably be the damn song that sets it off for us.
Why not?
There's a lot of bands like me and Seeger had this conversation, like Alien Ant Farm. They were like, oh, the Smooth
Criminal.
But he loved all three of their records were great.
Dude, yeah, like
they put out great tunes.
They were they are still around. I think they just had an album come out recently. Yeah. But yeah, if you actually dive into that band, like you're like, Smooth Criminal is just a good radio hit. This is a fucking phenomenal band.
Yeah.
And they're not just like alt rock. They've got smooth bluesy shit. Their song Movies. They've got so many different flavors. Like they're a well seasoned band. Did you ever watch when they crashed the BET Awards?
I'd have to go back and
look. Oh my god,
it.
It's on YouTube and it was uploaded I think like in the early days of YouTube, where Alien Ant Farm. I don't know if they broke into a building across the street from BET Awards, but like, there's the BET Awards. All these fucking just white dudes on top of a fucking building, just like playing out their fucking speakers, and the singer singing off this edge of a fucking building, and everybody else on the side of the street. And the song's about getting across barriers, and I think it's about working together. And you see all these people on the other side of the street like jamming, like, what the fuck is going on over there? I don't know, but that's fucking Nelly was walking out of a car and shit. They're like jamming. It was weird because there's like, you could tell there's a cultural difference there, and they're like, let's just push it a little bit. I think they all went to jail, but worth it for music. Alien Ant Farm.
Not Brad Wilkes. God damn it. Bass player for Audio Slave.
Oh, dude, I won't know that.
Oh, they ended up crashing. What was it? MTV Awards or some shit. That's when he got up there and he was on top of that thing, swinging back and forth or whatever. What? Yeah, you have to look it up.
Apparently.
Yeah.
No shit. Nifty. What about Muse? You a Muse fan? You like Muse at all?
I like a couple of their songs, yeah.
They had an album come out last year, and one of my favorite songs is called "We Are Fucking Fucked." Like, these guys, all of their music is about conspiracies, basically. Supermassive Black Hole. They have a song called HAARP, HAARP, which is about, like, advanced weaponry. Were you ever a Ozzy fan? Where you like dabbled? Yeah. Have you listened to his album that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Dude, it was good. It was, what was
Scary Little Green?
Yeah, exactly. You already know what I was
my favorite song off the whole thing.
Dude, straight up.
Favorite song.
Oh man, he was supposed to release an album within a year and a half of that, but I think he's just getting old. Just time is hitting him, man.
Oh man,
can't do cocaine forever. Like,
he's been sober for a long time.
Yeah,
it's just kind of wondering. It's like, man, all our heroes are going to be gone eventually.
Yeah, that's a weird reality.
Changing of the tides, it's like, damn, man.
It just means somebody got to take their place, man.
Somebody's got to do something.
Some guy got to pick up the torch. You are the torch.
I wish.
You never know, man. I mean, like, you guys have such a unique and just fucking like heavy sound, and your bluesy stuff in there as well is just, it's clean as well. You know what I mean? And yeah, I would love to see you guys grow, and you are growing. You don't need my fucking advice, but I'm like, it's just cool seeing it.
It's good to hear somebody from the other side, which we've gotten compliments from a lot of people.
Yeah.
There, but for someone to say, hey, from day one to where it is now.
Yeah.
I often think about that sometimes, and I'm like, man, you change members out.
Yeah.
You get a different sound. It's still the same band. It's just an evolution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't be what it is if we still had the same people, So once again, the universe just kind of interjects and goes, hey, this has got to happen for this to go this way. And, maybe it's for the better, but here you go. Figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like whenever, so it was me, Steve, Caleb, and Ryan.
Yeah.
And so we got Caleb. And we're like, hey, we got a couple shows. We need somebody to fill in for us. If you're interested, he's like, yeah, I'll fill in.
Sure.
But we'll see. So he did a couple shows with us, and he was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm on board. And I was like, cool. Now we got this extra, super talented guy, super talented, cool musician in the band, putting his 2 cents in. And we had a couple of songs brewing, and then of course Ryan, he had to dip out, and he got back in racing, respectfully left the band.
Yeah.
And Seeger was the first guy I thought of. And I'm like, where is a good guitar player?
Yeah.
Who's got a good attitude, and who's a cool guy. Somebody we can get vibe and get
he's a
along
grounded
with.
person, too.
He's grounded, and I'm like, that was the first motherfucker I thought of.
Yeah.
Like, come on, buddy!
Get up on here!
And it was the same thing. He's like, hey, I'm going to just do this show, and let's jam a little and, kind of feel it out.
Yeah.
And even then, and I, he could probably say the same thing. That first, year, 6 months to 8 months, that first little stretch there, kind of feeling things out in the jam room.
Yeah.
Writing, because essentially, you got to be able to vibe with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exchange riffs, and which we've got. Me and him got a lot of similarities and tastes and stuff like that. But
sorry, I'm fighting a cat right now, so I'm trying to make eye contact while this cat is trying to sabotage the podcast. Okay, we're good.
We've all got similarities and stuff like that, but putting it together.
Oh my God.
Hi, kitty.
I knew I should have locked him up.
We got a cat.
Prison.
What's his name?
Floki, because he's crazy.
Floki. Floki the cat. Everybody.
He's pissed. He's just like this bullshit.
Well, you jumped up here, guy.
He just demands attention. He has to have it.
But
that's cats.
He joined up, and that little stretch there. We're writing and
the first year or so.
And there for a little bit, I'm like, man, I hope this fucking works out.
Yeah.
It'd be bandless if it fucking doesn't. What I mean? But
no.
Waiting for things to work out, and just let things. Sometimes you just gotta let things be what they are. You gotta let them just kind of slowly.
That slow burn.
Let it work itself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't jump to conclusions or rush things. Sometimes you got to be a little patient, which it's kind of taught me a little bit of patience. So
you guys got more flavor out of it.
Yeah. Like I like recording, but sometimes it's like work, but you have to do that work to get the product out. And you know, those guys they're adamant about pushing me to get the best out of me, and sometimes I'm a lazy bastard, and I'll admit that.
You got the take, just use it. Yeah.
I'm more of a just flow with it kind of guy, man. Just let it be what it, but at the same time, you gotta, no, man, you can get
the best out of you that you can.
I think I redid some of the vocals on this song that we're doing, and he's like, Seeger's like, hey, you want to go back in and redo that? Because it was towards the end of recording. Yeah. And I could kind of tell my voice was I was fatigued. I was petering
going out a little bit. Yeah.
And, Seeger's like, hey, man, I want you to re-record that because I think you got a lot better in you. I'm like, well, I don't sound... And it didn't sound bad because Mike was like, yeah, it sounds good. And I'm like, that sounds good. But Seeger's just like, you got better. I know you got better.
Good for you and for him, by the way.
Which is great. Yeah. It's like, no, hey, man, you got better.
Just push a little bit.
You need somebody else to tell you, no, you can do that better, man.
He's a little extra backbone for you, which is awesome. Yeah. It's just like a little extra self-accountability when you're like, I'm cool with it, and you're like...
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes you just get a little too comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
Creative input is not always, a little bit of negative input, we'll just say. It's not always a bad
constructive
thing. It's constructive.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, it's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like constructive criticism, man. Yeah. I'll take it. It's like, okay.
Well, if it makes me better and you actually have the wherewithal to be like, actually, this touche. Yeah. I can look at,
the term be coachable, you know what I mean? Be teachable,
Yeah.
So
100. Well, I'm going to take a break real quick and smoke a cigarette because I don't think I'm allowed to smoke on where I post these.
Smoke break, we were talking about aliens.
Oh,
we're going down a rabbit hole.
I don't even need a smoke break to talk about aliens. I'll be doing that all fucking day long. What's a fascinating topic, man? Like the concept that we may not be the original being of intelligent consciousness.
Out of all the stars in the galaxy and all the solar systems, like the things that the James Webb Telescope has seen, you mean to tell me we're it? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I saw this cool analogy that said it'd be like trying to get a spoonful of water out of the ocean and trying to judge the whole ocean out of the spoonful of water and be like, there's nothing else out here. Yeah. You're like, dude, do you have a fathom ability to understand how big there could be multiple. It could be a multi-dimension, a multi-universe, and we only know our galaxy.
Yeah, we've yet to explore the majority of our ocean.
Yeah,
there's so much probably weird shit we don't know about floating at the bottom of that damn thing.
Straight up.
It's kind of weird. They've stumbled upon some weird shit, man. I'm like, that's crazy.
Well, and there's another concept that the reason we haven't found ETs or aliens or had the interactions is because they are so good at hiding because they could hide under a fucking rock. Because they could, allegedly, if they're a type 3 civilization or something, they could edit or adjust matter to the point where they could shrink everything and have a whole colony under a fucking rock or something small. And then you're like, that's beyond my fathom.
Yeah.
My comprehension.
We're as advanced as we are right now at this point in time as human beings.
Yeah.
Give it another 100 years, what's it going to be like?
Oh, dude. I mean, with
Will
AI
we even be human? No, we might be cyborgs or something.
Well, for the longevity of mankind, you start to wonder, for whatever this is, information or intelligence, what's the long scale? DNA's imperfect. And then we could have a merger of DNA and cyborg shit. It's weird. It's weird.
They say however many thousands of years, there's usually like a reset. They think there's been resets.
Yeah.
Civilization resets in time, which is not out of the question.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question. I'm like, that's very plausible.
That makes sense. Every once in a while, there's like some
we're
huge
human
thing
beings,
that happens.
and we're curious creatures, and we like blowing things up and doing things we probably shouldn't do to each other as human beings.
Yeah.
So maybe something comes along and wipes everybody out, and then we got to start over from scratch again. Who knows?
Well, and there's the concept that all of this could have already happened before, which is even more
possible.
I know the concept of the flood. I'm not religious, but I feel like there's some originality to the stories in the Bible, at least pieces of it.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of scientists that claim up and down that they can show that some type of flood happened at one point.
They're starting to put a lot of these pieces together with stuff that's in the book, and then stuff that's happened, and things that scientists, scientific theory and things that they've found.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff's starting to link up together, and it's kind of like, okay, maybe
that's ironic.
Making sense. Yeah, that's ironic. Huh?
So is that irony, or is there like something more here? Well, I think there's wherever Sodom and Gomorrah originally happened, and allegedly God like took out a whole evil town or whatever. They found rocks that were superheated to the point of just being glass, and it seemed like there was like a nuclear explosion in this area. It was like very unnatural rock formations and stuff that just got super fucking heated.
Yeah, no, not a volcano around in sight.
Yeah, and you're just like, how does this get here?
It's like the bricks from the pyramids. It's like, how the hell did they get there?
That's just so...
That's the biggest mystery that's been exposed to us, that's in broad, that we can see with our own eyes, is that damn pyramid and some stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, how did this big thing get here?
Where the fuck did this mega structure just manifest from?
Yeah.
Like, how did this get here?
I mean, granted, thousands of years to build something. Sure, journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. However,
the perfection of
everything.
How they made this shit, though.
I mean, it's crazy.
One, even the pyramids themselves, they line up with, I think, the star system of Orion or something. It's that. Perfectly aligned with star systems above the area, and you're like, how the fuck would you even have the science to know that? And there seems to be this picture that's getting painted that this all could have happened before, and something happened, and like even with the flood, something so significantly big, everything we've done now with the right amount of water or just mud could be under 400 feet of mud, and there would be no sign of us ever existing, and it could have already happened before.
Quite possible.
Which is fucking bad shit. But yeah, I think we're probably gonna do, I would say, a part 2 here sometime soon. Hopefully we'll get another gentleman on here, maybe from the band, and we'll exchange some juju.
We'll get Caleb Snyder in here and go deep down the rabbit hole.
We gonna go balls deep on the hole. We go. This cat is demanding so much attention.
I appreciate you having me, man. This was fun. I was thinking like, man, what questions are you gonna ask me? And then on the way here, I'm like, well, let's just roll with it.
I could probably do better at like prepping people for like, I'm gonna ask you this, that, or the other. But
the best ones, man, are when you're just rolling with
off
it.
The cuff.
Like I like listening to podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
I like to listen to people just go off the cuff, man.
Yeah.
Just go off the cuff. I mean, go from one subject to another. You're just having good conversation. That's all we're doing here. We're just having conversation. We're flowing with stuff.
Flowing and going.
Hanging with the cat.
Well, check out Cause of Ruin. I know you guys are on Apple Music /iTunes.
Yep.
Are you guys on Spotify?
We are on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, I think Google Play.
Yeah.
And you can check out everything at driftloudrecords.com /Cause of Ruin. All our merch is on there.
And what they got up right now is Villain, right?
Yeah,
and then
the Villain EP.
Here, hopefully in the next couple of months, you're going to have that new bad boy.
We're going to have the new EP coming out here in a couple of months, hopefully.
So prepare if you're a metal fan. Cat, get off my lap.
It's more... There's some metal elements in there for sure, but it's a little more hard rock. We brought it back just a little bit because some of the material that we had laying around... some of the songs. One of the songs is an old one that we revamped. Yeah. We've played it for the last 8 years, but it's like, hey, this is a good song. Why don't we record it?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we just never got around to it. It wasn't a song that we wanted to put on a piece of material. You know what I mean? Like on a.
You wanted to match it up, like genre and feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Fuck yeah. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on. I ain't kicking you out yet.
That's okay.
But yeah, thanks for stopping by, y'all. And I've been fighting this cat.
Check out the podcast. Don't be lame.
That's right. Don't be lame. Check out the podcast and abduct this cat. Love you guys. I appreciate you, Jeremy.
Peace, man.